The apartment was warm with golden light. Soft candle flames flickered on the dining table, reflecting gently on polished plates. The air smelled of freshly cooked food, sweet and comforting. Every dish on the table was carefully prepared, each one something Lily remembered Daniel once loved. Lily Chen stood still for a moment, looking at everything she had done. She smiled faintly. "Perfect," she whispered. She adjusted the flowers again, even though they were already in place. Then she checked her phone. 8:12 p.m. No message. "It's okay," she told herself softly. "He's probably just busy." She walked to the mirror. Her simple white dress fit her perfectly. She wasn't trying to be glamorous, just special. Tonight mattered. It was their anniversary. Flashback. Years ago, Daniel had held her hand tightly under streetlights. "I don't have much right now," he said with a shy smile, "but I promise, one day I'll give you everything." Lily laughed softly. "I don't need everything. Just don't forget me when you have it." Daniel squeezed her hand. "Never." Present. 9:05 p.m. The food had started to cool. Lily sat down, then stood up again. She walked to the window. The city outside sparkled with lights, but something felt distant, cold. She picked up her phone and called Daniel. The call rang. And rang. No answer. She tried again. Still nothing. Her smile slowly faded. At the same time, inside a luxurious hotel suite, warm laughter filled the air. Daniel Liu sat on a sofa, his tie loosened, a glass of wine in his hand. Across from him, Grace Lynn smiled elegantly. "You work too hard," Grace said softly. "You deserve to relax sometimes." Daniel exhaled. "Work never ends." Grace tilted her head. "Not everything has to be responsibility." Her voice was gentle, understanding. The kind of tone Lily used to have, long ago. Daniel's phone buzzed on the table. He glanced at it. Lily calling. For a brief moment, he hesitated. Then he flipped the phone over. "It can wait," he said. Back at the apartment. 10:30 p.m. The candles had burned lower. Lily sat quietly at the table now. She hadn't touched the food. Her phone remained still. No calls. No messages. She tried again. This time, the call went straight to voicemail. Her fingers trembled slightly. "Daniel," she whispered. Flashback. Rain poured heavily that night years ago. Lily stood outside a small shop, holding an umbrella over Daniel. "You'll get sick," she said. Daniel laughed. "Then stay with me." She rolled her eyes but stayed anyway. They were poor back then. But they were happy. Present. Midnight. The clock ticked loudly in the silent room. Lily leaned her head on the table, eyes heavy but unwilling to close. "I'll wait a little longer," she murmured. But her body betrayed her. Slowly, she fell asleep. Morning light slipped through the curtains. Lily woke up suddenly. Her neck hurt. The candles were gone. The food had gone cold. She looked around quickly. The door hadn't opened. Daniel never came home. Her phone vibrated. A message. From Daniel. "I was busy. Stayed at the office. Don't wait next time." Lily stared at the words. Cold. Simple. Distant. Something inside her cracked quietly. Later that day, Lily walked slowly down the street, her mind blank. Then she saw it. A photo on someone's phone screen as they passed by. She froze. It was Daniel. Smiling. Sitting close to Grace Lynn. In a hotel. The timestamp. Last night. That evening, Daniel finally returned home. He loosened his tie as he walked in, as if nothing had happened. "You're back early," he said casually. Lily stood there, holding her phone tightly. "Where were you last night?" Her voice was soft, but shaking. Daniel frowned slightly. "I told you. Work." Lily lifted the phone and showed him the photo. Silence filled the room. Daniel's expression darkened. "Why are you checking things like this?" he said, irritation creeping in. Lily stared at him, disbelief in her eyes. "I waited all night." Her voice broke. "For you." Daniel sighed, running a hand through his hair. "You're overreacting," Lily. It was just dinner. You're too emotional. Too emotional. The words hit harder than anything else. That night. Rain poured heavily. Lily walked alone down the street, her vision blurred by tears. Everything felt unreal. Her love. Her marriage. Her memories. All of it. Meaningless. If I could do it again, she whispered, her voice lost in the rain. I wouldn't wait. A bright light suddenly filled her vision. A car. Too fast. Too close. She froze. Darkness. Silence. Then. Warm light. Soft candle flames. The smell of food. Lily's eyes snapped open. She was sitting at the dining table. Everything was the same. The untouched dishes. The glowing candles. The quiet room. Her heart began to race. She grabbed her phone. 8:12 p.m. The same time. The same night. Lily's breathing grew uneven. She looked around slowly. Realization dawned. I came back. Her hands clenched. This time. Her eyes changed. No more waiting. No more tears. Only quiet determination. The candlelight flickered gently. Everything looked the same. The same table. The same food. The same quiet apartment. But Lily Chen was no longer the same. She sat still, staring at the dishes she had carefully prepared, just like before. For a moment, her heart tightened, as if her body still remembered the pain that hadn't happened yet, but had already happened. Her phone rested beside her. Silent. She knew what would come next. A call with no answer. A night of waiting. A message filled with lies. Lily slowly picked up her phone. Her fingers hovered over Daniel's name. In her last life, she had called him again and again, hoping he would pick up. Hoping he would choose her. This time. She pressed the screen. Then calmly, turned the phone off. The room fell into silence. Lily stood up. She looked at the table one last time. Her eyes were calm, but there was a quiet sadness hidden deep inside. I won't wait for you again, she whispered. One by one, she blew out the candles. Darkness filled the room. A few minutes later, Lily walked out of the apartment. The night air was cool. The city was alive, cars passing, lights shining, people laughing somewhere far away. It felt different. Last time, this night had been filled with pain. But now, it felt like something new was beginning. Lily walked without a clear destination at first. Her heels clicked softly against the pavement. Her thoughts were loud. Why did I love him so much? When did he stop loving me? She didn't have answers. But for the first time, she realized she didn't need them. Meanwhile, inside the hotel suite, Daniel Liu sat across from Grace Lin. The atmosphere was relaxed, comfortable. Grace poured more wine into his glass, smiling gently. You should take more time for yourself, she said. You're always so serious. Daniel leaned back slightly. That's just how things are. Grace watched him carefully. You don't have to be that way with me. Her voice was soft, understanding. Daniel's phone buzzed. He glanced at it. Lily. For a moment, he frowned. In the past, by this time, Lily would have already called him many times. But tonight, only one missed call. And then nothing. Strange. Something important? Grace asked. Daniel turned his phone face down. No. Still, something felt off. Back outside. Lily stopped in front of a small convenience store. The bright lights felt comforting. She stepped inside and bought a bottle of water. The cashier smiled politely. Long day, he asked. Lily paused. Then she gave a small smile. Not anymore. Later that night, Lily stood outside an apartment building. She hesitated for a moment, then pressed the doorbell. A few seconds later, the door swung open. Lily. Emma Chen stood there, surprised. Why are you here so late? Lily looked at her younger sister. For a moment, her eyes turned red. In her past life, she had pushed Emma away, always choosing her marriage first. Now, standing here again, she felt something she hadn't allowed herself to feel before. Warmth. I just wanted to see you, Lily said softly. Emma frowned. Did something happen? Where's Daniel? Lily shook her head. I didn't want to stay home tonight. Emma studied her for a moment, then stepped aside. Come in. Inside Emma's apartment, the atmosphere was cozy and relaxed. Clothes were casually thrown on the sofa, snacks on the table, completely different from Lily's perfectly arranged home. Sit, Emma said, handing her a cup of tea. Lily held the warm cup in her hands. For a while, neither of them spoke. Then Emma broke the silence. You two fought, didn't you? Lily looked down. In the past, she would have defended Daniel. Made excuses. Pretended everything was fine. But now. No, she said quietly. I just got tired. Emma blinked. Tired? Lily nodded. Tired of waiting. Tired of hoping. Her voice was calm but heavy. Emma's expression softened. I told you before, Emma said, sitting beside her. You always give too much. Lily gave a small, bitter smile. I know. Back at the hotel, Daniel checked his phone again. Still nothing. No calls. No messages. He frowned slightly. Your wife isn't calling tonight? Grace asked casually. Daniel's expression turned cold. She knows I'm busy. But even as he said it, something didn't feel right. Back at Emma's apartment, Lily sat by the window, looking at the city lights. Emma walked over and leaned against the wall. So, she said, what are you going to do? Lily was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. I want to live differently. Emma raised an eyebrow. That sounds serious. Lily nodded slowly. This time, I want to choose myself. The night grew deeper. For the first time in a long time, Lily didn't feel like she was waiting for someone. She wasn't checking her phone. She wasn't counting the minutes. She was simply existing, breathing, living. Across the city, Daniel sat in silence for a brief moment. His phone remained still. No missed calls. No messages. He told himself it didn't matter. But deep inside, a small, unfamiliar feeling began to grow. Not guilt. Not yet. Just unease. Back at the apartment she left behind, the candles had gone cold. The food remained untouched. The room was quiet. Empty. Like something important had already left. And this time, Lily never went back that night. Morning sunlight streamed softly through the curtains. Lily Chen opened her eyes slowly. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she turned her head and saw the unfamiliar ceiling, the slightly messy room, the pile of clothes on the chair. Emma's apartment. A quiet sense of relief settled in her chest. She wasn't alone. And more importantly, she hadn't gone back. In the kitchen, Emma was already awake, making coffee. You're up, she said casually, glancing over her shoulder. Lily nodded. Yeah. You didn't run back home in the middle of the night. That's progress. Lily smiled faintly. I won't. Emma raised an eyebrow, slightly surprised by the firmness in her tone. Good, she said. Because you deserve better than waiting for someone who doesn't show up. Lily didn't respond immediately. But for the first time, she didn't feel the need to defend Daniel. Later that morning, Lily stood in front of the mirror. She looked at herself carefully. Same face. Same person. But something inside her had changed. In her last life, her days had revolved around one thing. Daniel. What he liked. What he needed. What he wanted. Somewhere along the way, she had disappeared. Emma leaned against the doorframe, watching her. So, she said, what's your plan? Lily turned slightly. I want to work again. Emma's eyes widened. Finally, Lily let out a small breath. I used to have goals, dreams. I just forgot them. Emma smiled. Then remember them. That afternoon, Lily sat at a small desk with a laptop. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. It had been years since she last updated her resume. She hesitated. Then slowly, she began typing. Each word felt unfamiliar at first. But then, it came back. Her skills. Her experience. Her confidence. Piece by piece, She started rebuilding herself. At the same time, Daniel Liu walked into his office building. His expression was calm, as always. Controlled. But the moment he sat down, his eyes flicked to his phone. Still nothing. No messages from Lily. His brows furrowed slightly. Usually, by now, she would have texted. Asked if he had eaten. Reminded him to rest. Tried to start a conversation. But today, silence. Mr. Liu. His assistant's voice snapped him back. You have a meeting in 10 minutes. Daniel nodded. But something felt off. Back at Emma's apartment, Lily finished her resume and leaned back. She stared at the screen. A small sense of accomplishment filled her chest. Emma walked over and glanced at it. Wow, she said. You were impressive. Lily laughed softly. I forgot that. Emma crossed her arms. No. You just let someone else become more important. Lily didn't deny it. That evening, Lily's phone rang. She froze for a moment. Then she looked at the screen. Daniel. In her last life, her heart would have raced. She would have answered immediately. But now, she simply stared at it. The phone kept ringing. Emma glanced at her. Aren't you going to pick up? Lily slowly shook her head. No. The call ended. A few seconds later, a message appeared. Where are you? Lily read it. Then calmly placed her phone down. No reply. Across the city, Daniel stared at his phone. His expression darkened. He wasn't used to this. Not from Lily. He typed again. Why didn't you answer? Still nothing. His jaw tightened slightly. For the first time, he felt something unfamiliar. Not anger. Not exactly. But a loss of control. That night, Lily sat with Emma on the balcony. The city lights sparkled in the distance. Mom called me yesterday, Emma said suddenly. Lily stiffened slightly. And? She's worried. About your marriage. Lily let out a small breath. Of course. Family expectations. Reputation. Image. These things had always mattered. What did you say? Lily asked. Emma shrugged. I told her the truth. That you're not happy. Lily looked down. In the past, she would have denied it. Pretended everything was fine. But now, she'll be disappointed, Lily said quietly. Emma turned to her. Do you want to live your life for her, or for yourself? Lily didn't answer immediately. The night breeze brushed softly against her face. Finally, she spoke. For myself. The next day, Lily attended her first job interview. She wore a simple but elegant outfit. Her posture was straight. Her eyes were calm. The interviewer smiled politely. Mrs. Liu, it's been a while since your last position. Why now? Lily paused for a brief moment. Then she answered honestly. Because I'm ready to return to who I was. Meanwhile, Daniel sat in his office, distracted. Grace's message appeared on his phone. Dinner tonight? He stared at it. In the past, he would have agreed without thinking. But now, for some reason, he hesitated. Then typed. I'm busy. That evening, Lily walked out of the interview building. She let out a long breath. A small smile appeared on her lips. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Across the city, Daniel sat alone in his apartment. The lights were dim. The dining table was empty. Cold. He glanced around. Something felt different. Unfamiliar. Quiet. Too quiet. Back at Emma's place, Lily stood by the window again. But this time, she wasn't waiting. She wasn't hoping. She wasn't hurting. She was moving forward. Slowly. But surely. And somewhere behind her, without realizing it, Daniel had already begun to fall behind. The apartment felt different. Daniel Liu stood at the doorway for a moment before stepping inside. It was the same place. Same furniture. Same arrangement. Same silence. But something was missing. He loosened his tie slowly, his eyes scanning the room. No warm light. No smell of food. No quiet footsteps moving toward him. Just emptiness. He walked toward the dining table. His fingers brushed lightly against the surface. For a brief second, an image flashed in his mind. Lily sitting there, smiling softly, waiting for him. He frowned slightly and pulled his hand back. Why was he thinking about that? At the office the next day, Daniel sat in a meeting, but his attention drifted. Voices echoed around him, numbers and plans being discussed. But none of it stayed in his mind. His phone lay on the table. Still no messages. He glanced at it again. Nothing. Mr. Liu. A colleague called his name. Daniel blinked slightly. Continue. But even as he spoke, his thoughts were elsewhere. Later that afternoon, Daniel stood by the window in his office, looking down at the busy streets below. He unlocked his phone again. Scrolled through his messages. The last conversation with Lily was short. Cold. Unfinished. He hesitated. Then typed. Are you staying at your sister's? He stared at the message for a few seconds. Then sent it. Across the city, Lily Chen sat at a desk in a bright office space. She had gotten the job. It wasn't a top position. But it was hers. Her first step forward. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it. Daniel. She read the message. Her expression didn't change. Calm. Distant. She locked the phone without replying. Back in his office, Daniel watched the screen. Waiting. Minutes passed. No response. His brows slowly tightened. This wasn't like her. Lily always replied. Always. That evening, Grace Lynn sat elegantly at a restaurant table, checking the time. Her expression showed slight irritation. Finally, Daniel arrived. You're late, she said lightly, though her tone carried meaning. Daniel pulled out his chair. I had work. Grace studied him carefully. Something was different. He wasn't as relaxed as before. Not as present. Is something bothering you? She asked. Daniel shook his head. No. But even as he answered, his phone buzzed. He picked it up quickly. Grace's eyes flickered. But it wasn't Lily. Just a work notification. A faint disappointment crossed his face. He didn't even realize it. Grace leaned forward slightly. You seem distracted lately. Daniel frowned. I'm just busy. Grace smiled, but her eyes were sharp. Is it your wife? Silence. Daniel didn't answer immediately. Grace's smile deepened slightly. She finally noticed something. Daniel's expression turned cold. It's nothing. But inside, he wasn't so sure anymore. Meanwhile, Lily walked out of the office building, holding a folder in her arms. The evening sunlight cast a soft glow around her. She looked lighter, free. Her phone buzzed again. Another message from Daniel. Answer me. Lily stared at the words for a moment. Then she typed a reply. I'm busy. Short. Simple. Just like his message had been before. She sent it. Daniel stared at the reply. 2 words. I'm busy. For a moment, he felt something tighten in his chest. He didn't like it. Not at all. That night, Daniel returned home again. The silence greeted him like before. He walked into the kitchen, opened the fridge. Empty. Or at least, empty of anything Lily used to prepare. He closed it slowly. Flashback. Lily stood in the kitchen, smiling. I made your favorite. Try it. Daniel barely glanced at her. I'm not hungry. Her smile faded slightly, but she still nodded. Okay, maybe later. Present. Daniel leaned against the counter. For some reason. That memory stayed. Back at Emma's apartment, Lily sat comfortably on the sofa, reviewing documents. Emma walked in with snacks. You're working hard, she said. Lily smiled slightly. It feels good. Emma sat beside her. Daniel contacted you? Lily nodded. Emma raised an eyebrow. And? I replied. Emma leaned forward. What did you say? Lily looked at her calmly. The same thing he used to say to me. Emma blinked. Then slowly smiled. Good. The next day, Daniel stood outside Lily's office building. He didn't know why he came. He just did. People walked past him, busy with their own lives. Then, he saw her. Lily walked out of the building, talking to a colleague. She was smiling. Not the soft, careful smile she used to give him, but something brighter, more natural. Daniel froze. For a moment. He didn't recognize her. Lily noticed him. Her steps slowed. The smile on her face faded slightly, not into sadness, but into calm indifference. She walked toward him. "Why are you here?" she asked. Her tone was polite, distant. Daniel frowned slightly. "I came to see you." Lily nodded. "Is there something important?" Her words were formal, like he was just someone she knew, not her husband. Daniel felt something sink inside him. "This attitude of yours, what is it?" he asked. Lily looked at him quietly, then said, "Nothing. I'm just busy." The same words again. But this time, they hit harder. Daniel stared at her. For the first time, he realized something clearly. She wasn't angry. She wasn't sad. She wasn't waiting. She was done. Lily gave a small nod. "If there's nothing else, I have to go." She turned and walked away. Without hesitation. Without looking back. Daniel stood there, watching her leave. The distance between them wasn't far. Just a few steps. But somehow, it felt impossible to cross. And for the first time in his life, Daniel Liu understood something he had never felt before. Not power. Not control. But loss. The rain fell softly outside. Daniel Liu sat alone in his car, parked across the street from Lily's office building. The engine was off. The world around him moved normally, people walking, cars passing, lights changing. But inside the car, everything felt still. His eyes remained fixed on the building entrance. Waiting. 4 days now, he had been coming here. Not every day, but often enough to notice something clearly. Lily was different. She walked with confidence. She spoke with ease. She smiled, but never at him. His phone buzzed. "Grace Lynn. Where are you? You promised dinner." Daniel stared at the message. For a moment, he didn't reply. Then he typed, "I'm busy." He sent it. Then leaned back, closing his eyes briefly. That word again. Busy. The same excuse he had used so many times before. Now, it felt empty. Across the city, Lily sat in a meeting room, presenting confidently. Her voice was steady, clear. Based on the data, this approach will give better long-term results. Her colleagues nodded, impressed. Even her manager smiled. "Good work, Lily." She gave a small nod. "Thank you." Inside, she felt something warm. Not because of praise, but because she had earned it. On her own. That evening, Lily visited her parents' home. The atmosphere was quiet, slightly tense. Mrs. Chen sat across from her, hands folded tightly. "You've been staying with your sister for too long," she said. "People will start talking." Lily listened calmly. In the past, these words would have made her anxious. Afraid. But now. "I understand," Lily said gently. Mrs. Chen frowned slightly. "Then come back home." Lily shook her head. "I won't." The answer was simple. Firm. Mrs. Chen's expression changed. "Are you thinking of ending your marriage?" Silence filled the room. Lily didn't respond immediately. Her father looked up quietly from the side, observing. Finally, Lily spoke. "I'm thinking of ending the life I had before." Her mother didn't understand. But her father did. He sighed softly. "Let her choose," he said. Mrs. Chen turned to him, surprised. "But she's not a child anymore." Lily's eyes softened slightly. For the first time, she felt seen. Meanwhile, Grace sat in a luxurious restaurant alone. Her expression was cold. Her phone rested on the table. Unread messages. Ignored calls. She finally picked it up and dialed Daniel. This time, he answered. "What?" His tone was flat. Grace smiled slightly, though her eyes were sharp. You've changed. Daniel frowned. What do you mean? You used to make time for me. Daniel leaned back in his chair. I'm busy. Grace let out a soft laugh. Don't use that excuse on me. Her tone shifted, less gentle, more calculating. Is it because of your wife? Daniel didn't answer. Grace's smile faded. Interesting, she said quietly. You didn't care before. Daniel's expression darkened. That's enough. He hung up. Back at Emma's apartment. Lily stood by the window, looking at the city lights. Emma walked over, holding 2 cups of tea. Family drama, she asked. Lily gave a small smile. Something like that. Emma handed her a cup. So, what's next? Lily looked down at the tea, the steam rising gently. I'm thinking of filing for divorce. Emma blinked. Then. She smiled. Finally. The next day. Daniel sat in his office, staring at a document. But he wasn't reading it. His thoughts kept drifting back. To Lily. To her voice. To her eyes. Calm. Distant. Unreachable. He stood up suddenly. Grabbed his coat. And left. That evening. Lily stepped out of her office building again. But this time. Daniel was already there. Standing still. Waiting. She stopped when she saw him. Her expression didn't change. Just quiet awareness. Daniel walked toward her. Slowly. I need to talk to you, he said. Lily nodded. Okay. They stood facing each other. The city noise faded into the background. For a moment. Neither spoke. Then Daniel finally said, Come back home. Lily looked at him. Her gaze was steady. Why? The question was simple. But Daniel couldn't answer immediately. He opened his mouth. Then closed it. Because he didn't know. Not really. Lily waited. Then spoke softly. You didn't come home that night. Her voice wasn't emotional. Just factual. You told me you were busy. Daniel's chest tightened. You chose someone else, she continued. Still calm. Still steady. Daniel looked at her. For the first time. He didn't try to deny it. I was wrong. The words came out quietly, but they were real. Lily studied him. For a moment. There was silence. Then she said, You didn't lose me that night. Daniel's brows furrowed slightly. Lily continued. You lost me long before that. Her words were soft. But they hit harder than anything else. Daniel felt it. That truth. Every ignored call. Every cold response. Every moment he chose something else over her. It all came back at once. I can change, he said suddenly. His voice carried urgency now. Just come back. We can fix this. Lily looked at him. Really looked. At the man she once loved. At the man she once waited for. Then she smiled. Not warmly. Not sadly. Just, peacefully. No. Daniel froze. I already changed, Lily said. And I don't want that life anymore. The words were final. Clear. Unshakable. Lily stepped back. I hope you'll be happy, she added softly. Then she turned. And walked away. This time. Daniel didn't call her name. He didn't stop her. He just stood there. Watching. As she disappeared into the crowd. For the first time. He understood something completely. It wasn't about losing control. It wasn't about pride. It wasn't even about love. It was about timing. And he was. Too late. That night. Daniel sat alone in his apartment again. The silence felt heavier than ever. He looked at the empty dining table. And finally. He remembered everything clearly. The candles. The food. The waiting. I lost her. He whispered. And this time. There was no one left to hear it. Morning light filled the room. Soft. Quiet. Peaceful. Lily Chen stood in front of the mirror, adjusting her outfit. Her movements were calm, natural, no hesitation, no self-doubt. Today felt different. Not heavy like before. Not uncertain. Just steady. On the table beside her, a small calendar was marked with a circle around today's date. The same date. The same night that once broke her. Her anniversary. Lily glanced at it for a moment. Then gently closed the calendar. No sadness. No pain. Only a quiet understanding. Meanwhile, across the city, Daniel Liu sat alone in his apartment. The curtains were still drawn. The room was dim. His eyes rested on the dining table. Empty. But in his mind, it wasn't. Flashback. Warm candlelight flickered. Lily sat there, smiling softly. "Try this," she said, placing food on his plate. Her eyes were full of warmth. Full of love. Present. Daniel blinked. The image disappeared. The table was empty again. Cold. Silent. He leaned back slowly, running a hand over his face. That night. That one night. It replayed in his mind again and again. Not just what happened, but what he ignored. What he didn't see. What he didn't value. "If I had gone home," he whispered. But the sentence never finished. Because he knew. There was no answer. Back with Lily. She stepped out of the building, sunlight falling gently around her. Her phone buzzed. A message from Emma. "Dinner tonight. Don't be late. This time you're the one we're waiting for." Lily smiled. "Okay," she replied. Later that day, Lily sat in a quiet office room. A document lay in front of her. Divorce papers. Her name was already signed. All that was left was his. There was a knock on the door. Daniel walked in. He looked different. Tired. Less composed. Less certain. For a moment, they simply looked at each other. No anger. No tension. Just distance. "You asked me to come," Daniel said quietly. Lily nodded. She pushed the document toward him. "I think it's time." Daniel looked down. The words were clear. Final. He didn't touch the papers immediately. Instead, he asked, "Is there really no chance?" His voice was low. Almost careful. Lily didn't answer right away. She thought about it. Not emotionally. But honestly. Then she said, "No." Daniel closed his eyes briefly. A faint, bitter smile appeared on his lips. "I thought so." Silence filled the room. "I used to think you would always be there," he said slowly. Lily looked at him. He continued. "No matter what I did, no matter how late I came home, you would still be waiting." Lily's gaze softened slightly. But not with love. With clarity. "I was," she said. And that was the problem. Daniel let out a quiet breath. Yes. That single word carried everything. Regret. Realization. Too late understanding. He picked up the pen. His hand paused for a moment. Then. He signed. The sound of the pen on paper was soft. But final. Daniel placed the pen down. "It's done," he said. Lily nodded. "Thank you." He looked at her again. As if trying to remember her. Not the woman she was now. But the one he lost. "Are you happy?" he asked. Lily thought for a moment. Then. She smiled. A real smile. Warm. Light. Free. Yes. Daniel looked at her. And for the first time. He believed it. That night. Lily sat at a dinner table again. But this time. It was different. Emma laughed loudly, placing more food on her plate. Mrs. Chen sat beside her, still occasionally sighing but no longer arguing. Her father quietly poured tea. The room was full. Warm. Alive. "Don't just sit there," Emma said. "Eat." Lily laughed softly. "I am." She looked around. At the people beside her. At the life in front of her. This time. She wasn't waiting. She was living. Across the city. Daniel sat alone in his apartment. The same date. The same night. He stood up slowly. Walked to the dining table. And sat down. For a moment. He imagined it again. Flashback. Lily smiling. Candlelight glowing. A soft voice. "I'll wait for you." Present. Silence. Darkness. Empty space. Daniel looked down. His hands rested on the table. Unmoving. Some things in life only happen once. Some choices only exist in a moment. And some nights never come back. He closed his eyes. But this time, there was no second chance. Back at Lily's dinner, she raised her glass slightly. Emma leaned in. "What's this for?" Lily smiled gently. "For a new beginning." Glasses clinked softly. Laughter filled the room. And somewhere, quietly, a past life finally ended.